Welcome back to computer science. What did we learn about yesterday? Syntax guidelines, right? Bang, bang, bang. We got some white space guidelines, some naming guidelines, and some miscellaneous guidelines. The naming guidelines, snake case for variable function parameter names, camel case with an uppercase first letter for classes, typically 2 words per name. That is descriptive. There are some exceptions like I and J for iterators and single letters for mathematical variables. The miscellaneous style guidelines. What do we got? Something about quotes? No. Not exactly sure. I don't remember. Then we started the next one, which is about strings. Is that this next unit is about strings? So we talked about string variable, string literal, a sequence type, which means it orders the thing. It's a collection of items that are ordered from first to last. The first is the first index. These are also the positions that are known as indices. So index 0 is the first character in the string. We can use some function to not a function. We can refer to a specific character in a string by using, we basically say the name of the variable and then use a bracket. And within the brackets, you say the index number. Strings are immutable, so you cannot just change one of these characters. You'll have to actually rewrite the whole string. And then the string function converts, potentially a floating point or a integer into a string. Oh. Okay. Anything we're missing? Empty string. String with 0 characters, 0 elements. Len, right? Len function will tell us the length or how many characters there are. Or it can actually be used for any sequence type, including a string or lists. Negative index values are valid. Essentially, -1 is the last or the rightmost character, and then you move from right to left. Cool. Concatenating strings. So the concatenator symbol is the plus sign, and essentially you can concatenate strings. I think you can only concatenate 2 strings. If you try to do an integer, I know you can multiply strings. I think you can only add strings together. Yeah, if you try to add a variable or if you try to add a integer or floating point, I think you'll get a type error. Strings being either string variable or string index. What was that? Those miscellaneous. Oh my gosh, there's more. Miscellaneous. Use double quotes for string literals. Just general, you just use double quotes, okay. 1 line is typically less than 100 characters. Oh, what the heck? Constants. So for variables that are constants, we typically use snake case, but all uppercase. We finished that string unit, now we're in formatted strings. So how do we format a string? You use F before a string literal. That will create a formatted string literal. And then within those you can use curly braces or curly brackets. And those within the curly brackets create a something element, like a changeable element. And that's where the formatting occurs. And that within those curly brackets get evaluated to a different value. We already learned about some of this with the formatting floating point numbers. So these are placeholder expressions, also known as replacement fields. So formatted string literals are also known as string or F strings. So now I'm going to jump back in to more from the textbook, and I'll be back to recall in a bit. All right, we continued learning about formatted strings. So these replacement fields, these are often used for numbers. It seems like a simple way when you want to create a string with numbers, just to be able to throw them right in within the string without having to do all these other extra quotation marks and commas and plus signs. So then we learned about the colon, and this is like a formatting specification, I believe, and it helps to define, well, it helps to, you can alter how the field is ultimately formatted in the F string, but also determine or tell, determine the type, the presentation type. So I don't know what that exactly means. Does that mean that you can have an integer within a string? Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, I know that :s, that's how you evaluate it to a string, I believe. :d is how to do it as a decimal value, which I don't know what that exactly means. It seems to mean just integer. Period number f, that is how you determine how many decimals are left. Comma period decimal comma period f, comma period number f, the number how many is how many decimals are or digits after the decimal point or to the right, as well as commas, so you can format with commas. E turns it into an exponential notation. Lowercase x turns it into a hexadecimal. B turns it into a binary or evaluates it as a binary. So those are just some. Double curly braces is how you have braces within the string in a formatted string. Did I say format specifications? Presentation type. And then if you put an equal sign at the end of the replacement field, or what's the other term for this dang thing? Placeholder expression. If you put an equal sign at the end of it, it's going to evaluate to both the expression within the braces as well as the output, and this can be helpful for debugging. So, my oh my. That's it for right now. I will talk to you later today. See you for now. Welcome back to computer science. Let's finish up for the day. Quick high-level overview of earlier. We had that, what were the terms called? We had colon for formatted string literals, F strings. We use this colon. It's like type. It's like how you like format them, formatting sequence, formatting structure, gosh dang it, type something. We got the D for decimal, S for string, which is implied if you didn't do anything. Period, number F, comma, period, number F. B for binary. A, lowercase x for hexadecimal. Double brackets, equals. At the end of it, we'll evaluate the expression and the result. And the value evaluates too. It's good for debugging, double braces. Presentation type, format specifications, okay. All right, so I'm gonna jump back in and to continue working through the textbook. I'll be back to recall in a little bit. All right, wrapping up for today. We finished up that lecture or that unit on, what would that have been about? And floating, no, not floating. Formatting strings, I think. We started this last unit of this lecture on strings and output, right? Formatting outputs, output formatting. And it is on conversions, type conversions. So we got implicit conversions talking about typically if there's a floating point number in a numerical operation, it's going to be, the answer is going to be a floating point. Other than that, we got the conversion functions, just int, string, float, or str. Something on a floating point, something in there. Since we're ahead, I went ahead and did 2 MSPs, little programming projects from unit or lecture, like last week, that are going to be due on Thursday this week, so a little less than a week. Very simple outputting one. I went ahead and used the format string, the F string. That was useful. Even though I didn't have to, I could have used commas or concatenation or multiple print statements. More like commas and concatenation. What was the other MSP about? Yeah, it was just like floor division, essentially. Right, so when you convert a floating point to an integer, it just drops the decimal. So essentially it's like rounding down. So this is on type conversion. This last one on strings. String formatting. All right. Oh, shoot. No, nothing new actually on that. Yeah. So the big points of string formatting, that escape sequence, not escape sequence, replacement sequence, replacement field, evaluation, replacement field, placeholder expression. That's those words. I know what it is. I know the concept. I recognize it. I'm just trying to remember the words. It's replacement field, something expression, placeholder expression. Okay, and then the stuff that comes after the colon. What is that stuff again? Formatting specifications. Yes, and presentation type. That is what you're talking about in the formatting specifications, such as whether it's a decimal or a string or a percentage or a scientific notation, etc. So, that wraps it up for today. Pretty close to finishing up lecture 6, so had a schedule. That's good. I will talk to you tomorrow. See ya.